What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by Daniel Starkand and Scott Geirman with an interesting Clayton Kershaw update from Andrew Friedman at the GM meetings, talking with some reporters and noting that Clayton Kershaw, who had surgery last week on his shoulder, Andrew Friedman basically saying hasn't changed anything for us, still interested and hopeful for a reunion next year. Daniel, I'll start with you. I think some people are going to read this and say, wait a minute, a guy has major shoulder surgery after an up and down injury health season, and you're saying it doesn't change anything. Are you surprised by the connection between those two things?
I guess it depends on what else they plan on doing. Like if re-signing Clayton Kershaw is like your big starting pitching acquisition of the offseason, then I'd be a little surprised just because, you know, he's going to miss half the year. You know, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. This is a major surgery. I'm pretty sure it's the first surgery of his entire career. So who knows how he's even, you know, going to come back after that. But, you know, with the assumption that they're going to make other moves to bolster the starting rotation, in that case, then I don't think this is surprising at all. I think it actually, you know, makes sense for both sides. You know, the Dodgers obviously need a ton of starting pitching. Like, it's not like they just need one guy. So you can make a couple other signings and also bring back Kersh with the expectation that he's going to be back around, you know, the All-Star break or whatever. And that honestly could end up being like kind of a blessing in disguise. Obviously, we know he hasn't necessarily, you know, been able to stay healthy. So maybe if he starts pitching in the middle of the year, then by the time October rolls around, he's kind of in like June or July on his schedule. So in that sense, I think it makes sense. We got to see how the surgery goes. Like there's a chance that, you know, the surgery doesn't go great. And you know, they're saying it might be a year recovery instead of a half a year or whatever. So we'll see. But I'm definitely still interested in bringing Clayton Kershaw back. I know that for sure. I'd rather, if he wants to retire, like by all means, like he's earned that right. But you know, going off the statement that he put out, it seems like he still wants to play, and I really couldn't take seeing him in another jersey. So I'm still in the camp of, you know, get it done, Friedman. It'll probably be a little cheaper just because he's only playing half a year, but I still want to see him back in Dodger blue.
Scott, the quote was, "We're giving them, Kershaw and his wife, the time and space to make the best decision for their family, but selfishly, we hope it's for him to continue and finish his career in Dodger blue." I love that from Andrew Friedman.
Yeah, no, it's kind of what we've seen in years past, right? With Clayton Kershaw, that they're going to allow him and his family to take as much time as they need. And he's earned that right. But it's a unique time because now he's going into the offseason, not only with, you know, expiring deal. It would be the same scenario as, you know, years past, but now it's with an injury. Now it's with a shoulder surgery. So it's different. I know there's a growing belief that this might have been it. This might have been the last run for Clayton Kershaw. But in a unique situation, franchise legend, let's give him as much time as you need. I think it's the best thing to not extend the qualifying offer to Clayton Kershaw. Allow him to take that time, all options. You don't lock him into any, you know, like package contract that's set in stone. If there's something that they can work out, if he does pitch a year, if he does pitch half a year, whatever it is, you know, they're fortunate to have him. But I think giving him the time to take that, let free agency play out for whatever. And if he wants to come back, he's got a contract there and they'll figure out the terms. So, but I know, like you said, whatever, I know, Jeff, you were on it. Was it $20 million a year, however long he wants to pitch?
Yeah, exactly.
Do it, man.
The 1 year, $20 million year, we could prorate it to a half year.
Because he's still productive. Like he's still going to go out there and give you quality. Whether and if he doesn't, then he's not going to go out there and just, you know, mail it in. That's not what he has in him. He's the first person to say, if he sucked, he sucked. Yeah. But if he's good, which he has been when he's out there, then he's definitely worth the spot. He's worth the money.
And again, I started this by saying I think there's going to be people that are like, wait a minute, this guy's having major shoulder surgery and it doesn't change anything. Keep in mind, everybody knew he was hurt. Like nobody's surprised by the fact that he's having this surgery. So whatever the Dodgers were saying a month ago, like just because we now know he's having surgery and the surgery has happened, I would be shocked if that was a surprise to the Dodgers. And so they've been consistent the whole time. Like they knew about the surgery. So while it's new information to us, it's not necessarily new information to them. We talked, Blake, Matt, and I on Sunday night show. And I kind of wonder, you know, how long does Clayton Kershaw wait to make this decision? If he's not expected to be ready until the middle of next summer, is it possible that we're not even by opening day. He hasn't made a decision because he's still waiting to see how his arm feels before deciding if he wants to come back. Like, I think the extended timeline, I'm not even putting an end date to that timeline as opening day, at least for me personally, Daniel. I don't know if you agree with that, but this is like going to be a big rehab. This is a major shoulder surgery. So I don't think at his age, it's just an absolute guarantee in the same way that, like, hey, Walker Buehler, Dustin May, they're having Tommy John. It's like, well, they're obviously coming back. I don't think it's quote unquote obvious that these guys are going to come back. Look at, some of the other older relievers the Dodgers have tried to cycle through, and whether or not those guys have just been able to automatically come back. The answer is no. So, Daniel, do you think there's a chance that by opening day, Clayton Kershaw is still a free agent?
I definitely think it's going to be a little time. I think he's going to have to get the surgery, and whatever teams he's talking to are probably going to want to see his progress over the coming months. Like, I don't think anyone's just going to want to hand out $15-20 million unless they know that his rehab is going well and he's actually going to pitch at some point next season. I don't think the All-Star break will be a deterrent or whatever, but if a couple months go by and they're saying he had a setback and he might not pitch this year, then obviously teams aren't going to want to do that. So I definitely think you're onto something there. It could be a little while. I don't know about I would think he'd want to be on the team for spring training just so especially if it's the Dodgers, like he'd want to be in the building rehabbing every day, going through whatever he has to go through. So I'd probably put the cutoff at the start of spring training as opposed to opening day. But you never really know. Like, he's definitely made a ton of money in his career. It's not like he has to sign as quickly as possible to lock down, guaranteed money or whatever. Like he has, the luxury of waiting as long as he wants. So I definitely think it might be a while. Ideally, I'd like it, I'd like him to re-sign with the Dodgers as soon as possible, assuming the surgery goes well. But it could be one of those where we're sitting here in February or whatever, and Clayton Kershaw isn't signed yet.
Yeah. Scott, February 12th, I believe, is when pitchers and catchers report, somewhere around there. If I gave you that as the over-under on Clayton Kershaw making a decision on playing, not playing, Dodgers, Rangers, and I'm not asking you to predict where he goes or what he decides, but do you think we have a decision prior to February 12th?
Oh, under. Yeah. I think he's before. Yes. I don't know if that would be a very different scenario for him to be unsigned. And then, for the record, I think they're going to blow past the luxury tax, but that's just me. So I don't think it matters, like, money-wise. I don't think he'll be like, I need to sign someone to squeak them under that. I don't think that'll happen. But I'm going to say under. He's signed late November, December, in years past. So I'll take the under. I don't know what the line is on that. You can text me that later on, but I'll take the under. I'll collaborate with Daniel. I think he'll piggyback that there. But I'm going to say, December, maybe early January, and then they'll kind of get a baseline of where that shoulder's at in the recovery, and then go from there. So he can because he's a very competitive guy, and if he has any aspirations to pitch, he'll really want to get back on there because he doesn't settle for being bad. He's not coming back, and it's either retire or we're taking the under. Hammer it.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Does Clayton Kershaw make a decision prior to pitchers and catchers reporting? I'm looking up dates, February 12th, February 13th, somewhere in that range. Before or after, let us know in the comments below. That is Daniel Starkand and Scott Geirman. My name is Jeff Spiegel. As always, thanks for joining us. Please subscribe, ring the notification bell. Tons of content coming throughout the offseason. We would love to have you with us. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks. And as always, go Dodgers.